10 streams, getting past this room meant the run was getting far and that I should focus up at least a tiny bit. Now, after my streams, I would go and practice the rooms I died to most, which proved to be really effective, because from my 6th stream on, I would start playing really well. On that 6th day, I got 2 runs past Event Horizon. One would die in EH15 because of stupidity, and the other would get past my PB
Let's
room,
fucking go. Okay, we got a PB.
past the first half of Determination, and only died to Determination 11.
Okay, this is probably the scariest part in the entire map. And that's the reason why.
A personal best by 8 room. The very next stream would get 2 runs to Event Horizon, one all the way to Determination 10, another very far run, which sadly died because I got distracted reading chat.
Oh my god.
Next 2 streams though, another one of the 7 rooms of hell would reveal itself, as I got to Determination 11, another 3 times, dying another 2 times to it. Now this room was named Wind Springs by the community because, well, there's wind and you need to hit the springs. But what at first
But sometimes, speedruns aren't than the previous levels. For the other ones, there were definitely some difficult sections, but the main challenge is the length of the level. But for Farewell, it's not only the longest level, but also has some of the hardest screens in the game. The chapter adds a few new mechanics, like most before, in the form of a jellyfish parachute and exploding fish. These are both quite a bit more fluid than the other objects in the game, which means that it's a lot easier to mess these up, aka die. And the final screen of Farewell is one of the longest and hardest in the game, taking people sometimes hours to beat the one screen out of 100 total in the level. And there's an extra moonberry to get by going backwards after you beat the screen. All of these things together make this the hardest chapter to consistently beat without dying. It took Rick 6 hours to beat it for the first time, no golden berry. And that's pretty impressive. After another 70 hours of struggling through the 100 screens, he was able to get the golden berry, becoming the first Brazilian and the 31st person worldwide to do so. After that achievement, Rick found his love for the grind of Celeste Deathless and decided to start running any percent. Honestly, this was light work, as Farewell Golden is much harder, so he pretty quickly moved on to doing all C-Sides Deathless. The B-Sides and C-Sides are extra levels you can get if you grab the cassette tapes in the normal levels. And you might wonder why he'd do the C-Sides before the B-Sides, because the C-Sides are much harder levels than the B-Sides. Basically, the C-Sides are hard but short, so the overall run is about 10 minutes compared to the Deathless B-Sides 50 minutes. And it's a lot easier to not die for 10 minutes than for 50. And by a lot easier, I mean a lot easier. It only took him like 2 hours to beat C-Sides Deathless for the first time. There's not really much to say about it. But the B-Sides, however, those were a completely different monster. It didn't take him 2 hours, nor 2 days, nor 2 weeks, but 2 months to beat them. Other than the time-based difficulties, the B-Sides are also just hard. It takes every challenge from the any percent route and just kind of multiplies it. The wind in Chapter 4 is even more of a nuisance than in the A-side. The Mirror Temple Seekers are even scarier and so frustrating. And the core's ice and fire is way more confusing. But by now, Rick had put hundreds of hours into the game and was dedicated to the grind. So eventually, he was able to clear all B-Sides Deathless. At this point, the only thing left for Rick to learn how to do Deathless was all of the collectibles. This was where he started all full clears. Basically, there's a special golden flag you can get if you do everything there is to do within a level in one go. So getting every berry, every tape, every heart, and every level the first time you go through it, all without dying. This run doesn't include the B or C sides because they don't have collectibles, but it easily adds over an hour to the any percent run. There are 175 strawberries to collect, on top of the tapes and hearts, and if you mess any of these things up, you have to fully reset the hour-and-a-half run. All full clears took Rick the longest to beat, because it actually requires new routing in order to learn. Up to this point, all the runs have basically just been beat the level, and at its core was just a perfect casual run. This run, however, is not how anyone actually plays the game unless they're specifically going for the full clear flags. So while Rick was familiar with the route for A, B, and C sides, he had to learn where all the collectibles are, as well as how to get them efficiently and safely. But after about 6 months and many hours, on November 16th, 2021, he cleared it. By now, Rick had done everything you would need to do in order to 100% Celeste without dying. There's nothing more to learn about the run. He just had to go do it. But it's a 3-hour run, so it was quite a big mountain he would have to climb. The Celeste Mountain.
Ao que está sentado no trono, seja a honra, a glória e o poder. Ao que está sentado no trono, seja a honra, a glória e o poder e o domínio para sempre, pelos séculos dos séculos. Todo ser que há nos céus, todo ser que há na terra,
Emacs presented Celeste Deathless, which is about the struggle than anything I could ever say.
It's over.
Not a single other person is close to this achievement, and I think it'll be a good while before anyone is. This sort of accomplishment is one that deserves recognition, and I'm so glad to be able to make this video about it. If you want to see more content like this, check out my channel, and feel free to subscribe. Thanks so much to Rick for helping me out, and thanks to you guys for watching this.
You might think it would be the 4th place speedrunner, Nero X2, but that is not the case. In fact, the speedrunner who performed this run had no submitted time on the leaderboards. His name is Phoenix 4K, and he is a really interesting speedrunner. While it has exploded in popularity in recent years, speedrunning is still a relatively niche hobby. As a result, tightly knit communities develop around it. Speedrunners often participate in their games communities, sharing their progress and broadcasting their runs. Some do this to grow a community and possibly become famous, but most just want to submit runs and share their accomplishments with their friends. However, Phoenix was different. Phoenix would rarely share his personal best times. When he did upload his personal best runs on the speedrun.com leaderboards, he would frequently remove his submissions later, as when he deemed a personal best unsatisfactory, he would delete it from the leaderboards. While Phoenix did stream runs on Twitch, the majority of his best Celeste achievements were accomplished offline. So for most speedrunners and viewers, Phoenix 4K was not a well-known name, and he definitely was not in the conversation as a Celeste any % world record contender. The only exception was a small group of top runners who Phoenix communicated with regularly. Many of these runners were aware of his runs and
Ugh.